Now, people were asked to rank, again, in the Essential poll today, what they care most about. And clear margin, 3/4 of people wanted serious action on aged care, tick, it's happening. 60% of people wanted women's safety, tick, big amount of money coming through here. Local manufacturing, nothing specific, but if you know the details of things like instant asset write-offs, the ability to write off losses, that's big. And of course, again, the same can be said for small business. Alas, renewables, no huge amount of money there, but you can't expect that out of this government. If you want that, you can vote Green, and you already are planning to, and this budget wouldn't mean anything. And again, not even half of people even asked about the intensity of things they care about was to cut debt. Now, a couple of other quick ones here. If Australia was a business, the Australian government takes in $445 billion. 1 year. $445 billion. That is up in the past 12 months of $31 billion. But what about what it spends? $589 billion. Are you holding on to something? Because this will frighten you. Before I show you, what do you think is the number one thing the Australian government spends its money on? Health, education, defence? No. Welfare. $209 billion is spent on welfare. That is the number one expenditure by 2 to 1 in the Australian federal budget. We still compensate people for a carbon tax that hasn't existed for years, let alone health, education and defence. So put simply, politically, how can you find a loser in this budget? If governments are about political solutions, then this thing ends up being a winner. If this is about economic management, well, they can point to the success of the past 12 months. They can point to all of those facts like the ones I mentioned at the very start, that without the spending that's happened in the past 12 months that gets doubled down in the next couple of months, millions of people will have been on the dole queue. And the more that we know about the dole queue and the truth of ageism in Australia, the older you are, the harder it is to get a job back in the private sector. So, debt's going to be a big issue, but I repeat, for the third time, politically, it is not as big an issue as the ideological argument is going to be, which doesn't mean we don't have it. That's just where I think this thing is starting to land.